Actually, her daughter did.
Okay. Oh no.
Friends with me, there's like so much break going on. Oh my God!
Oh, nice.
He was at the symposium too.
Oh, okay.
They'll help you.
The husband's carpool inside.
Is that CIF San Diego or all state?
No, CIF San Diego, Southern Section.
Oh, and the Southern Section.
All superintendents.
Right.
And all the ADs.
Okay.
All the ASB directors.
Wow.
ASB finance people. Like your people were there.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, I mean, we thought a lot of people about. They talked about people a couple times. So, yeah.
Nice.
I only give you shit because I can.
I love it.
Person,
yes, nice to meet you.
And that I only give you shit because I like I know you can take it.
Absolutely.
And, I just want you to know, like, I'm
For the record, I recognized you. I just didn't want to call you the wrong name.
Wow.
You didn't know my name?
No, I knew you were Jocelyn, but I didn't want to say, "Are you Jocelyn?" And then be like, "No."
Oh, because my friend that was next to me kind of looks like she could be Jocelyn too.
She what?
I said my friend that's with me, she could be also Jocelyn.
Really?
Well, I'm just saying she's a little Asian. I'm just saying, like you could.
I'm not going there.
You never know. You know, but yeah, no. Like, not a complete.
No, absolutely not. No, I
I'm not. I mean,
didn't
I
think
am in
that.
the chat.
Yeah, well,
That's
continue to
like
do
I said,
that.
It's because I can be
Yes,
in the
it's fun.
chat, but I'm usually sitting in my office at school.
Over at
talking
Sage
shit.
Creek.
Yes, talking
Nice.
shit. So every time you say Sage Creek, and honestly, like my AP, that's 2 doors down, he always listens, streams you guys too.
Oh, nice.
So whenever you say during baseball season something about Sage Creek, he like runs to the office to go, come on.
That's
You
like
know?
scratch
It's just like
the.
a
That's like
tiny
scratch
thing.
the cougar.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, that's why I appreciate it. I appreciate you giving us a start.
Yeah, the Paul Sancho. Pete Rose is someone that I've known about my entire life. My uncle, it was such a big deal last night that my uncle, who lives in Cincinnati, texted me saying how sad he was. So I'm glad that you decided to say something. It's definitely deserves to be honored in that way. It's fully appreciated. He's a good guy to have a debate with about this.
He's a great debater in general.
Let's go! Yeah. What's the kind of talk around what you were doing this morning about Michael King starting game one? Because the more I think about Michael King starting game one, the more I love this idea of him starting game one. Because he can set the tone for you, and he set the tone many times this year. So what's kind of the talk going on that Michael part about this?
I think that's where his team. I think Mike should talk to him about it. I don't know that anybody expected him to have the type of success, to have the type of depth in terms of innings that he got, but he's answered every call that has been out there. And just been forward to get the fifth game.
That is
a phrase game for Joe Musgrove have two teams in his hand, and I think everybody, whether it's up 1-0 or down, all type of stuff he's had. So I just think that this whole team is, it wouldn't matter what order that went in, they would have felt like they had a great chance.
I agree. And the Braves got it super late last night, so we're going to hear from Brian Snicker in his press conference that starts around 2:45. But they got in last night. I went on my my Aviator website. 11:24 p.m. is when they landed in San Diego.
Aviator website?
Yes, flightaware.com for everybody out there. You can find the tail numbers and all this stuff.
I didn't know this was.
I mean, I knew that was the.
Just part of Jesse Hagler, these guys are into these planes. It is great open. It's things
I know it does.
Did you know that there's a waypoint called Gwynn out in the ocean?
No, why would I know that?
Yeah, and there's a waypoint called Padres.
100%.
Why would I know that?
Anyway, let's get back to the conversation.
I that was interesting though. What other planes do you track?
Depending on if I'm flying anywhere, I'll check it out and see how long it takes.
See what the
kind of
history
route
is
they're
on the
taking.
on the on the flight.
All right. All right.
So
They-
our,
they
our
landed
local
at
aviator said what
24.
time? 11:24 landing at
Yes.
Lindbergh Field. I don't know why they didn't divert him to L.A. Lindbergh Field did not help us out. San Diego International Airport. Should have done some
You got
construction
any
on
other
the
hot
runway.
takes on the airport? You got
Hey,
any other
you know
hot
how many
takes?
times I've been diverted to L.A. twice because of fog. We couldn't say Marine Layer, get up to L.A.
So this is
It'll be way better.
He's jealous that they got the win.
We actually want to do things the right way here. We don't want, we don't want any shortcuts here.
Anyway,
I'll
yes,
say this.
yes.
I'll say this. No matter what time they got repairs, and I bet you they don't more important because it's playoffs. Joe actually said this during the press conference. If they got it at 3:00, it would not have mattered. These guys would be ready to go today. So, and that's the way the Padres have to approach it. They can't approach it like, oh, these guys get in late, a little jet lag. This is a chance to fulfill a lifelong dream for many guys. So I don't think the rest will factor in at all in this.
Yeah, and they're going to be starting AJ Smith-Shawver, who is a rookie who spent a lot of time on the IL this year. He hasn't really pitched the major league level. I think he's pitched one game at the major league level. But you know how we always talk about how I get nervous about rookie pitchers facing the Padres? Well, Tony, I think you're going to be happy to know that I don't subscribe to that in the playoffs. It's a completely different thing. It's a different animal, as you have described to us so many times. And a guy coming in here making the biggest start of his life against the Padres at Petco Park for all these fans. Tall task for that.
Because I don't know how tall the task is. All I know is that there's a reason to pray for him. I mean, outside of the fact that Brazil is now the fact that he has chosen to pitch in this game, I would probably lead me to believe that they expect him to be able to get some. They're not just throwing him out to the rules and hoping for the best. There's some type of plan behind this. What that plan is, I think, will be dictated by what the Padres offense is.
That's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, you talked about just the playoffs in general. I mean, how much of the playoff games are just played on simply adrenaline and just being in a different environment where it's not like the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that separates the playoffs, there is a ton of it. And if you are playing off solely that, you're destined to make mistakes out there. And so the team that can control all of that energy, that adrenaline you're talking about, and focus it towards doing the same things that gave them success during the regular season, they're the ones that are going to thrive in this environment. I mean, I can't stress that enough. That anxiety, that energy, that, however you want to couch it, can be to your detriment if you can't control it. And so, this is where, in most cases, outside of the young pitcher who's going to have to really dial in on that, everybody else in this series has been in these moments. Our Braves have been there over the past 2-3 years. Padres have been in and out of the playoffs over 3 of the last 4 years, 2 of the last 4 years. These teams are they have a bunch of veterans that I don't expect that would be an issue. However, starting pitcher, that's one that he's going to have to be out.
You had 3 plate appearances in the postseason, which is for all of us that obviously have never been a part of the Major League Baseball game. You've explained that.
Speak for yourself, Brady.
But Tony, I mean, just all the at bats that you had in your life. What were those 3 like? I know you got a hit in one of them. What was that experience like for you in Philadelphia in 2008, and then the home crowd for Milwaukee that a lot of these young guys have not experienced yet the Major League Baseball level? What was that major difference? I know we've kind of talked about it, but what was your experience like in the 3 postseason games?
First of all, I should have but I think the thing that, and I talked to you about this, I think the focus really changes and it's heightened. Hitters are taking pitches that normally they swing at. And one thing that Jimmy brought up yesterday, umpire they actually call.
Yeah.
So
I found that very
they're no longer worried about Quest Tech or the mechanism that breaks them. They're out there basically competing like the rest of them. They're trying to make the right calls every time, trying the biggest things possible. And so those are the two noticeable things that you see. But again, it's really about trying to control the playoff crowd is. I mean, the energy is just on 10. You can't command it. You can't control it. You're from a hitting standpoint. Your at bats are going to be jacked up.
Well, that's the stressful part. But after you got that hit, though, what's I hate asking what did you feel? What's the feeling? I would imagine that was probably the best feeling, one of the best feelings you've ever had in your baseball career, getting knocked in the postseason.
Unfortunately, you're hitting that.
Right. So and so.
It was.
It was.
Oh wow.
And so like you hit it in that moment, you're like, oh, first base is tough to beat. Now afterwards, you certainly can kind of take stock in the fact that at the highest level against a team that is more serious. But in the moment, I don't think you get a chance to really control. You just are out there trying to help your team win. That's what these guys will be out here doing tonight.
All right. That is all the experience you can get from actually a guy who did take 3 at-bats in the postseason. So
3 more than anybody else here.
3 more than anybody else. Very good
That's right.
description, Tony. We are at Baja Rick's Cantina right now. All day today, there is a 97.3 The Fan rally here. We're going to be doing the show till about 4:30, but they have great specials on a lot of drinks. Santo Tequila. There's so many different specials. You get the Santo Margarita for $8, the Santo Blood Orange Margarita for $10, Santo Tequila Sunrise $10, Santo Beer Rita $10, and the Santo Bloody Maria $10 as well. So we're right here next to the trucker stop from the convention center. So come on by, get some food, get some drinks before you head into Petco Park.
Close to an easy entrance to get to the park, too.
It is.
Beat all the traffic and wait in line.
There's a lot of people here right now. You guys ready for the game?
Playoff baseball.
All right, Tony, I'm not sure. We're fluid with your schedule today. Are you with us for another one, or you have to go do the field?
I need to go down to the field.
Okay.
About to start.
All right. Text me if anything happens, okay?
We'll do it.
All right, that's Tony Gwynn Jr. We're going to head to break. It'll be Braden and myself, Matt Scraby, here for the rest of the way. We're going to check in on press conferences. We're going to talk about, when we get back, we're going to talk about the team that the Athletic compares the Padres to from the past. So I'll explain when we get back here on 97 Fan. So you can hit us, if you hit us with a special break, it'll cut our views down. To the video.
Braden Soprenant here, Baja Rick's Cantina in the gas lamp. How are we doing out there, everybody? Got a lot of people happy. We've got a lot of people here right now getting some drinks, getting some food before they head over to the stadium. So we're right across the street from the convention center. If you take the trolley and you stop at that stop, you'll see us, a bunch of Padre fans right now. So appreciate everybody coming out here to Baja Rick's Cantina. Now, Braden, we have a little bit of an update on the score of the Brewers and the Mets.
We're not going to get the same reaction. They're not playing the Astros.
Yeah, that's true. We have a hatred for the Astros,
The Astros
table right in
hate
front
here
of
has
us.
been great.
This is not my favorite thing to report in the world, but Jesse Winker has hit a 3-run home run for the Mets.
We still
to put him up
we still don't like
3-2.
Jesse Winker.
Oh, I'm sorry. He had a 2-run triple. 2-run triple. 2-run triple. Sorry, Frank was like, "That's good, Frank." But
What's
a
the
2-run
score?
triple for Jesse Winker. 3-2 Mets. They are
3-2
winning.
Mets.
They are winning. So
What's Frank's nervous level at right now?
yeah, Frank, what's up?
Nerves right now are about a 6, maybe.
Out of 10, that's pretty good, actually.
6 out of 10.
Do you feel like if your team plays the San Diego Padres, they have a shot?
I
Don't
don't
ask him that
want
question.
to think about that.
Don't let him. Don't let him. No.
I put it in a way where you didn't look good no matter what you answered.
Don't put him on the spot like that on the Padres radio network.
All right, we're going to get to Fernando Tatis Jr. and Joe Musgrove, their presser, in just 1 second. But this hour, 97.3 The Fan, is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fan, Buffalo Wild Wings is kicking off football season with 2 limited-time sauces. Try their new Buffalo Bacon Sauce for bold notes of smoky bacon, or get the fan-favorite hot barbecue before it's gone. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. All right. Fernando Tatis Jr., Joe Musgrove did a presser together. Here's what they said.
What was your level of confidence or doubt, either way, in terms of where you thought you would get?
It was pretty high. I mean, I think any athlete will tell you, I think you have to, create space for the ideal situation. I know I prepare, mentally, physically, as well as possible to, give myself the opportunity to be back and healthy. And then it's kind of just, one day at a time. You keep checking boxes, you show up and you give everything you have on days that you don't feel like doing it, and you kind of just hope that things are going to fall where they should. But we got a really good training staff here that do a good job of creating good programs, and making time for us. So I felt pretty confident.
What did you learn a couple of years ago in New York in that game about your ability to step up in really big situations? And tomorrow, one way or the other, one of these two teams' season will be in the balance and you'll have the ball.
Yeah, you try not to make too much of it. It's another game. Obviously, the stakes are a lot higher, and there's a lot more, at stake. But it's the same game we've played all year long. It's a team that we've seen before. It's just a matter of managing your emotions and staying in the moment, and not letting the fears and doubt and worry, sink in. It's a real thing. Everyone experiences it. But I think the longer you play this game, the better you get at managing that and trying to channel it, to benefit you.
On the right side, second row.
Hey, Fernando. It was 4 years ago today you had the bat flip against the Cardinals here. How much do you remember that game, and how much have you wanted to get back after watching what this team did in 2022?
I remember a lot of it, especially the emotions. But just looking forward to what we can do as a team this year. And, I feel like that part of that, what I did and back in those days, is definitely going to be probably even better this time. AJ, down here in the front.
Fernando, you weren't a part of that 2022 run, so what do you expect from the atmosphere tonight? What do you expect from the crowd here at Petco Park?
It's going to be loud, just like it has been all season long. So I know it's not going to be no weird or different scenario than anything that I've seen before, but just looking forward to the energy and, what the fans are going to bring.
What do you expect from postseason baseball, maybe like in terms of the intensity on the field? And does 2020 prepare you for that at all now, given how different it was?
Yeah, but just my entire career, I feel like I've been prepared for that moment. So nothing different to do. Just show up and just play baseball the same way that you had played all your life.
Come back to AJ on the left side.
Joe, Mike joked yesterday that he picked the playoff rotation out of a hat. You guys are all, I mean, you finished the season really strong. What does it say about the group that, like, Darvish is in the bullpen and Martin Perez, I know he pitched Sunday, but he's not on the roster. Like, to have those guys, potentially as this thing progresses, what that could mean for this team.
Yeah. I think if you look at the way that it's lined up now, it's probably a lot different from what people would have expected it to be at the start of the year. Part of that is the time that you missed. Maybe he's not quite as sharp as he'd want to be, or innings-wise, pitch count-wise, built up as much. But King's another guy that, I don't think anybody expected to get as much as we've gotten out of him this year. Not to discredit anything that he's done, but just simply the fact that he's been a reliever the last couple of years. He has started in the past, but to, make that big of an inning jump in his first year and, be as quality as he's been is, I think it's, exceeded anyone's expectations. He's been the most reliable, the most consistent. He's been healthy all year, and I think we're all, really happy with him taking the ball in game one. I think the way that, myself and Cease have thrown along with King down the stretch here has been, pretty good, and probably could have ran us three out there in any order and felt good about it. But I think we all feel confident with Mike taking the ball. He's a really smart guy, pitches to his strengths, and does a good job game planning for lineups. So it's helpful for us to sit back and watch him work in game one and, see how he attacks the guys, see some of the tendencies of the other hitters. But I think we feel really confident with the three that we're running out there. And, I'm sure Darvish would love to be in that mix. Martin would love to be in that mix. But it's kind of, shows a little bit of our group again. Guys will, do whatever's needed, to move on. So this is kind of the way that it worked out based on, a number of different things. But I think we feel confident with the guys that are running out there.
Sam, straight back.
Joe, obviously, for the most part, the results since you've come back have been really, really good. Just wondering what you feel like the keys have been for you the last month or so.
I think just allowing myself the time to get where I need, not going in there. In the past, I've had injuries and come back, and I've tried to do a little too much with a small pitch count and, ended up not getting the progression work that I needed because I was so focused on getting deep into the game and being as efficient as possible that I didn't use my pitches in a fashion that I typically would, and I didn't prepare them properly. I've always been a kind of, cross that bridge when we get there kind of guy. With my rehab as well, like the first question, about not knowing what was going to come from the injury and if there was concern, I don't really have a whole lot of that. I just do things that I know I need to do to get ready and, take a day at a time. So, I honestly don't even remember what your question was again. Started rambling.
Just keys to what your success is.
Oh, yeah, keys. I think a lot of it's just putting a lot of faith in the training staff and trust in Ruben and, like I said, attacking on my game plan and not trying to rush things, just, using the pitches, be as efficient as possible while still, pitching my game. And obviously the scenario of when I came back in the year and the importance of how well the team was playing to not be the rock dragging guys back down, when Cease and Martin and Dylan were throwing so well. So, yeah, a lot of it, some of it's the atmosphere and the environment that I was, thrusted into when I did come back. And another part is, past experiences telling me that I need to do this the right way.
For Fernando, this has been a really good offensive team all year, batting average-wise, scoring runs-wise. What do you feel stands out about this lineup in particular, top to bottom, with the different guys you have?
Everybody just staying on their true strength. I feel like everybody in this lineup know what they're capable of, a hitter, and then they're practicing just the right way. And, everybody's just seeing the game and playing the game, just as simple as that. And, we have stayed really true to ourselves, and that's what has been our key so far.
That was Fernando Tatis Jr. and Joe Musgrove doing their media presser earlier today at Petco Park. And Fernando, he's going to be ready. Joe's going to be ready. I have no issues with those guys whatsoever. They are going to, like you said earlier, Braden, Fernando's got to make a name for himself in the playoffs if he wants to be one of those players that's considered one of the greatest.
Right. I mean, that's I don't want to put that
I'm
kind
not
of
saying
pressure on
greatest of all
him. But
time or anything. I'm just saying if he wants to be mentioned with the higher echelon guys, then he needs to do well in the playoffs here.
yeah,
this
he
year.
does, and he's going to have multiple opportunities to do that. He's still a very young player, but as I said before, big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games, and I totally believe that that's what's going to be the case with Fernando Tatis Jr. On anything else than earlier, we played a game that was most confident, most concerned on the Padres.
I like that.
And my most confident pick was Fernando.
Okay.
I mean, he is a guy that missed out in 2022. He's had all this up and down and, these different things thrown at him in his young career. And this is finally an opportunity for him, even though he missed some time again this year, to really take the playoffs by storm and show everybody why he was at one point in time early in his career the face of baseball. And I think he could continue to do that today, this afternoon, late afternoon, early evening against the Braves. And I think he's going to have a big postseason for the San Diego Padres. I think he's going to be the biggest thing that they missed in 2022. So from a confidence standpoint, I got the utmost confidence in Fernando Tatis Jr. to get the job done. I'd say the same thing with Joe Musgrove. What Joe Musgrove has gone through this season and been able to really have a great second half is remarkable. And I mean, you just listen to him talk, and you can listen to him talk in a press conference for a long time, and you have that extra sense of pride as a fellow San Diegan to see this guy represent your hometown ball club. It's great. I mean, I love listening to Joe get excited for a game. He says all the right things. I think somebody in our chat said Joe would be a great commentator one day. I'm sure he would love to do a color analyst
if he's not
role.
a coach or something.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to coach because he loves giving back to this community. So there's nobody better I'd rather have on the mound tomorrow to clinch a playoff series advancing than having Joe Musgrove on the hill tomorrow as well. So confidence standpoint, those two guys right there that did the press conference, that might be a big reason why they did the press conference. I can tell you about the concerns I have, but we have some deals you want to give out there.
Yeah, we'll get into your concerns on the other side. We'll also hear from Brian Snitker on the starting pitcher for the Braves. We have a lot to fit in next segment, so stick with us. But we are down right now at Baja Rick's Cantina in the Gas Lamp right across the street from the Convention Center, and there are tons of deals on food and drinks, most notably the Santo Tequila drinks. They are discounted. Santo Margarita is $8. Santo Blood Orange Margarita, $10. Santo Bloody Maria, $10. Santo Beerita, $10. So
A lot of Santo.
A lot of Santo. We're going to be
Appreciate
here.
Santo.
Yes, we're going to be here until 4. The sign says 4:38, so Brady and I will be here until 4:38. You have that amount of time to get down
I think our guy
here.
Alex Kirkwood's getting some Santo right now.
It looks like he is getting some Santo right now.
Nobody gets the outfield more fired up than Alex Kirkwood out there in left field.
Okay, I'm going to have to figure this out in the break.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
All right.
He's infamous for one other thing as a Cowboys fan, but I don't want to embarrass him up here. So
All right.
keep that to
When
ourselves.
we get back, Brain's concerns. We'll break down the roster. We'll also hear from Brian Snitker. We have about an hour left here on Gwynn and Chris. I'm Matt Scraby. That's Braden Soprano on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Scraby, Braden Soprennant here. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan. Tony is at Petco Park getting ready for Game 1 between the Padres and the Braves. Braden Soprennant and myself here at Baja Rick's Cantina in the gas lamp. There are a lot of people walking around. We're right next to the trolley, right across the street from the convention center.
A lot of people getting fired up for Padres baseball.
Absolutely.
Playoff time in America's finest city.
So come here, get a drink, get some food before you head into the ballpark, and you will be set for the game tonight. Now, we do have another result in the baseball playoffs, and that would be a final.
Got a final
in Baltimore. And the Kansas City Royals have taken Game 1 over the Orioles in Baltimore. 1-0. Bobby Witt Jr. singled in the only run of the game.
So that's 2 away teams to win the first game so far.
I don't like this. I don't like it.
You know what?
Detroit won the first one against the Astros. And the third away team is leading their game
Good,
right now.
so we'll be the only home team that wins today.
We'll break that trend.
That's right. That's usually how it happens.
I like that.
NFL wild card weekend, it's like away team, away team, away team. Last game, home team wins.
That's very true.
Never a
You're
clean
right.
sweep. I
It's
like our
never
chances.
a clean sweep. That's a good point. So come on down, join us here, Baja Rick's Cantina in the gas lamp. Braden and I will be here for another 45 minutes or so.
Now, that being said, though, if it was all home teams winning, it'd be like, oh, well, it looks like the home team's going to sweep.
Of course, I will go wherever the wind goes and fits my argument. I don't care.
That
if
makes
it fits
us,
my argument, it's good.
That makes us a win sock.
If you love
I used that last week on the show,
did.
right? Yeah,
yes,
Windsock.
you did. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. All right, I brought up the manager of the Braves, Brian Snitker, talking about his starting pitcher today. So we're going to hear that, but first we need to check your traffic report.
From the 97.
All right, let's get to this because I've said it. I heard it. I heard it here at the restaurant. So could be making a lot more out of this than actually is going to be heard here. If that made any sense whatsoever.
I don't think you are. I think there's something to be said about him being surprised.
Surprised. Here is Brian Snitker talking about their starting pitcher today.
Do you think at any point last week, like he was talking to Schwellenbach and probably Bobby Witt and those guys, do you think at any point in time he knew he was going to start?
I don't think he knew until this morning when I called him. I know he didn't. It might have been a shock when we put him on the plane with us.
Justin in the front on the right.
Snit, how did he take that news, and just what's your message?
AJ?
Yeah.
I had 2 calls because we were meeting after the first time because he and Bryce, I called them both originally just to let them know they were on. And then I called AJ back that he was going to, because I told him I didn't know what we were going to do. If we're going to have an opener, if he was going to start it, what route we're going to go. And then I called him back and he was excited. He said, I'm ready. So he's been through it. He's pitched in playoff game before, and so hope he has fun with it.
And how'd you, him and Bryce are so different just with the repertoire. How did you choose between the two of them?
AJ's been throwing pretty well. It's just kind of stuff. He's got stuff, and not that Bryce doesn't, but it was just, I don't know, we just all kind of a consensus that we wanted to give it to him.
All right, that was Brian Snitker. Now, Braden, let me give you his postseason pitching because Brian Snitker did say he has postseason experience.
Yeah,
He's
Bryce
got
Eller?
7 actual career games played in his entire career. Last year, he pitched in 1 game. His ERA was 10.13, 2 2/3 innings pitched, only 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 3 earned runs given up in those 2 2/3. And now that we've heard it, do you think I was making too much of a big deal about what Brian Snitker said about the guy not even knowing that he was going to be on the roster until this morning?
It didn't sound as bad the second time he said it. but I mean,
it's not a glowing endorsement.
But he didn't say like he was shocked. He said like I'm sure he was shocked, and he didn't know until I just told him. Right? He probably didn't. He said he probably didn't even expect to be on the plane. So it's not like he was like, I can't believe this. This was more Brian Snicker going, we weren't telling him ahead of time that he was going to be on this. But from the standpoint of him being mentally prepared for it, I mean, he would have to be like you, Darvish, to be just dialed in on scenarios that he wasn't expecting to happen, right? So I still think he's still young. You know, even though he does have playoff experience, he spent the majority of the year this year on the injured list. You know, he's a fly ball pitcher. You know, he's been okay, but it's a different environment.
Such a different environment
in the postseason. And how many innings did you say? 2 2/3.
In the postseason last year, 2 2/3.
Yeah, I mean that's not even like to. When we talk about playoff experience, we're talking about guys like, you know, Darvish. Has pitched in a World Series game.
Yeah.
Martin Perez, I know he's not on the roster, pitched in a World Series game. Xander Bogaerts has won 2 World Series. I mean, that is playoff experience. I mean, the guy's had like a cup of coffee for playoff experience, and he didn't do that well. I think the Padres should be able to tag him. I don't necessarily know. I mean, every Major League Baseball player is going to say that they're ready to go and they're excited, but I don't necessarily know if he's ready for the environment. We'll see. I mean, I said it earlier. This thing can go either 2 ways. Either one, he just has an unbelievable game and rises to the occasion. He's pitching on adrenaline. Or 2, you know, it's that lack of experience that gets him, and the Padres jump on him, and all of a sudden the Braves are in a bullpen fiasco. But to me, you got to get this guy out of the game as quickly as possible to get to the next guy, and it might be going with another one of those starters early on, and they might be splitting the roles. We'll see how Brian Snicker manages this bullpen, but. You got to get into the bullpen as quickly as possible, especially in tournament play in the postseason, because I know it's all hands on deck, but the more bullets you can take out of these guys, the better. The more that they're warming up, are more bullets out of their arm. It's high pressure pitches. It's a different environment. I mean, we talk about it all the time. On Andy Nelson, Craig brings it up. It's a good point. It's really all relievers having to go back-to-back days.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to do that right now in the postseason. And
also,
Iglesias did not look good yesterday in his outing against the Mets. He gave up the lead. He got a blown save. I mean, you got to get into that bullpen and keep feasting on it while you have the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. That's what the Padres have done pretty well recently, is getting on the board first and then not looking back and having their pitching do the rest of what they need to do. But everything you said was right, Braden. Everything you said was right.
Thank you.
I actually just had a little bit of a brain malfunction there for a second. But Matt Scraby, Braden Soprene here on 97.3 The Fan. We're at Baja Rigs Cantina in the Gas Lamp. How's everybody doing before Game 1?
Fired up, ready to go.
There we go. We're all fired up. You can come down here, get some drinks, get some food before you head over to the ballpark. Braden and I had this delicious spread of lobster and shrimp and corn, and then it was a nice, delicious ice cream type of dessert, but now it has melted, and I still want to eat it. I still want to eat it.
Drink the soup over there.
Still want to eat it.
How about Corbin Burns going 8 innings today and getting the loss?
That's brutal.
8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 punch-outs. Royals win 1-0.
That's brutal.
You know what? It's the postseason. Now they got to win 2 in a row. Also, the Royals got the upper hand. Tigers took care of business against the Astros. Both American League games are done. Mets have a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 4th inning in the National League, and by the time we get started here at 5:38 for the first pitch, every game in baseball is going to be over with probably.
Yes. Let's go to the Padres 26-man Wild Card Series roster, because we haven't really broken that down yet. I guess the only thing that surprises me, we have our normal players that you thought were going to make the roster. The only thing that surprises me is Yuki Matsui made the roster. I'm not trying to say that to throw dirt on his name, but I just didn't expect him to be on the Wild Card Series roster.
That's a big surprise. There's a couple things with the Padres wild card roster, and obviously this is going to change round by round if they continue to win in the postseason.
Yes, they can change it after each round.
But with the way that they have their starting pitching right now, the first thing that sticks out to me is they elected to have 14 position players instead of getting the extra pitching. So instead of going 13 and 13 or maybe 14, 12 the other way, 12 pitchers, 14 position players. So a guy like Brendan Lockridge makes the team.
He does.
As a guy that is a pinch runner.
He's a pinch running specialist.
He's your best option as a pinch runner. I know Tyler Wade has been a pinch runner too for the Padres, but I love having that speed off the bench. It's like in 2020 when they had Jorge Mateo, right? I mean, having a guy like Jorge Mateo to run, late in the game where you need a run, I think is very valuable, to a team. So they're going to go with the extra position player instead of pitcher. I think you can get away with that. The next surprise, obviously, was Yuki Matsui. I think it was the Yuki Matsui over Martin Perez, and obviously the Padres think Yuki Matsui in a bullpen role is probably a better option than having an extra starter in Martin Perez.
Perez started on Sunday, so if you look at it, it wouldn't line up again until like Friday or Saturday.
It's not lining up, too well on that. Darvish went on Saturday, so it's not like he was going to start. So him out of the bullpen's fine, and that's the other thing that really stood out to me. No Sean Reynolds making the team for an extra arm.
True.
But I don't mind it. I mean, we'll see what Matsui's got. He's under contract for 5 years. You got to leave him off the playoff roster in his first playoffs. I mean, you got to make some tough decisions here.
Teams have left off bigger names before of their playoff rosters. By the way, Chris Sale did not get placed on the Braves Wild Card Series roster, which means he will not be appearing in the series. He will not be pitching at all. So
the amount of conspiracy calls that we got yesterday about Chris Sale. Oh, he's just going to pitch tomorrow and he's going to shove.
I fully expected it, but here's the thing about pitching.
My guy.
Is if you're a good regular season pitcher and you win the Cy Young, that's all great. But if you can't pitch in the postseason, what's the point? Like, you're getting paid $30 million to miss the postseason?
I think it's more than just back spasms.
You think it's arm stuff?
I think it could potentially be something else because he hadn't pitched since September 19th. His velocity was down his last 3 starts. He hadn't done very well in his last 3 starts. I think they were kind of just hoping that he'd be able to go. Craig noticed this earlier in the week, but they were asking about him, and one of the reports came like, we'll see if he's able to go, which I think was a little bit of a mishap.
Yeah.
That happened this weekend. Well, we'll see if he's even able to go on the week on Monday, which was the first sign that things could be a problem. And then he didn't pitch yesterday, and you're like, okay, well, you got the season on the line and your best pitcher ain't pitching and it's because of back spasms. It's just, and the fact that he's left off the roster and there's no sense of maybe, I think is the last kind of.
So you're not going to be surprised when they say that he possibly needs some sort of surgery on
at
his
the end
arm.
of the season or on something. Yeah, I would not be surprised.
But again, it's like Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is making $300+ million with the Dodgers, but he missed most of the regular season. Now he can make up for it, I guess, in the postseason. But I just don't understand paying some of these guys who continually get injured year after year. You're making an investment in the player, but I was just looking at all the responses to the tweet from them saying that he was left off the roster of the Braves, and all the fans were like, all right, who cares about what he did during the season? Obviously, a lot of them are joking, but it doesn't make sense for me, and it's terrible for him because I know he wants to pitch.
How much money they give Sale?
A lot of money.
I thought they took a flyer on him.
Well, yes, because he had come off of injuries when he was
multiple
with the
injuries
Red
with the Red Sox.
He was with the White Sox before that. They signed him to a 5-year, $145 million deal. Average salary of $29 million. If you can't start in the postseason with that $29 million, then I'm wasting my money.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they've also had lots of injuries this year.
They've
the Braves,
had a lot of injuries.
Spencer Strider, Ronald Acuna Jr.,
to be honest
Austin
with
Riley.
You, the fact that the Braves made the playoffs
is surprising.
It shows you how good of an organization they are. That they, even with losing their best guy, they're arguably their best pitcher in Strider and arguably their best position player in Acuna, and they're still in the playoffs.
And they won the World Series without Acuna,
That's right.
3 years ago or something.
A little worried about tonight then, huh?
Yes, I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Acuna-less Braves
getting
are
a little
more scarier
nervous.
than Acuna Braves.
I guess so. I mean, it's like take Bryce Harper off the Nationals, they win the World Series.
Hey, you know
Acuna
what?
gets hurt, I don't even want to put it out into the universe.
Harper hasn't won a World Series with the Phillies yet.
That's true. That is
Just saying.
very, very true. All right, Braden Soprenet, Matt Scraby here at Baja Rick's Cantina in the Gas Lamp. We'll be here for another 40 minutes or so. Come on down, enjoy some food, enjoy some drinks. Come say hi to Braden and myself. We'll be back with more Gwynn and Chris. We'll be back with some more Padres talk on 97.3 The Fan. for Braden Soprano and myself, Matt Scraby, here at Baja Rick's Cantina in the Gas Lamp. How we doing, everybody? I think everybody's digging into their food now, getting into their drinks, getting ready for this game, Braden. Both you and I are going to the game, right? Are you going to the game?
I am going to the game. I'll be at the game. It'll be nice.
Yes.
Drop something off my car, and then we'll be in Petco Park ready to go.
Did you have the same issue with parking that I did?
What would that be?
They didn't believe me.
You didn't show them the little thing?
No, I printed out my little sheet, and when I rolled up, the guy was like, "No, this isn't it." And I said, this is what was sent to me.
Did you
I
end
swear.
up having to pay?
No.
You
no,
talked your way into it?
They eventually scanned it, and it worked and everything like that. But he said like the hanging. You need like a hanging thing.
Oh my God!
I know. This is what happens.
I got here so early because I've been here since 9.
You have been here early.
Nobody was at the thing, so I had to like take a ticket, which I don't have to worry about.
Oh, at the
way out.
because I was at the Lexus Premier lot, which is kind of strange, but it said it on my thing.
How'd you get a ticket? Well, you're supposed to be in the MTS garage. Maybe that's why. Maybe you didn't go to the right spot.
No, it said Lexus Premier lot on the thing, so I don't know what happened. I don't know.
I think you went to the wrong spot because we're supposed to be in the MTS garage, my guy.
I'm parked there now, so it's all good.
Until they tow it, you're like, "Where's the little placard on this guy's car?"
And they'd be like, "Let's
get it
tow
out
it.
of here.
Let's
Get it out
tow
of here."
And you know what? Let's just flatten his tires while we're at it because he's taking up a
taking it to the next level. Let's flatten his tires.
We only have one game going right now. It's the Milwaukee Brewers and the New York Mets in Milwaukee. Top of the 5th inning. Mets have runners on first and second with 2 outs. Brewers, however, have a 4-3 lead.
No, we're tied.
There. Let's talk about...
I got a 4-4 tie.
Oh, something happened.
4-4
my
tie.
app is slow.
Top 5, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Mets and Brewers battling out.
It just seems like the Mets, anytime they get into these high-scoring affairs, they always keep up. I mean, the Padres could definitely keep up. We've seen them keep up, but these Mets are annoying. They're pesky. They're just like flies.
And not a worry for us.
Not
on
a worry
the other
for
side
us.
of the bracket. Don't have to worry about them in a couple of weeks if we make it that far.
We will make it that far, Braden.
One game at a time.
What was the question on the chat? It was about you, Darvish, right?
Yeah, Lay's barbecue chips.
With the actual Lay's?
They got a picture of barbecue chips.
Wow. We're famous.
Thoughts on you, Darvish, coming out of the bullpen if the game is close? Are we talking about today?
I think anytime.
My thoughts, well, I think it's two different questions.
Postseason, yes.
And the postseason, I don't mind it just because I'd rather have them start. And the thing that works out is you could potentially, if you don't have to use them these next couple of games, here's the deal. If you win today and you win tomorrow, that means Dylan Cease starts game 1 against the Dodgers, and you can have Yu Darvish start game 2 against the Dodgers if you needed to, right? So if you win the first 2 games and you sweep, which most teams do in this wild card round, you're in a great spot for the divisional series. If you got to battle your way out, right? Then all of a sudden you might have to use Cease on Thursday, but then maybe Yu Darvish starts on the other day. But in terms of the bullpen, here's what I love about Yu. Yu is going to do whatever it takes to be the best for his team in whatever role that is. So that rumor or story that, whether or not we can get that confirmed about him sitting in the bullpen in Arizona this weekend.
Who'd it come from? That tells me a lot about it. Let me look. I have this in here.
I want to say I saw AC put out, but I didn't.
I saw it from Ben Higgins, so that's a pretty quality source.
Ben
I
had
think.
it. I believe our fellow comrade here at 97 Through the Fan, Ben, who also wore the polo today, company man.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Braden and I are wearing the same exact shirt. We did not plan this, so Adam is very excited.
Sam and Ben wore it this morning.
Sam wore it too?
Yeah, he had it on.
Wow, Adam got all of us to wear the polo without even asking us to wear the polo.
Woods, Paul, and Craig didn't wear
it. Okay.
Then Chris isn't here.
And Annie didn't wear it either.
No, but
I don't know if Annie has a polo.
Annie doesn't need to wear the polo.
We got these polos a long time ago.
Annie dressed for success with
I loved it
like
how
a regular field reporter.
We complained that we didn't have any cool shirts for the station, so Adam got us nice shirts, and then we never wore them. So,
I wore them for events
but we're
like
making
this.
use of it right now. Anyway, Yu Darvish out of the
back
bullpen.
to Darvish. I like his approach. I mean, so Ben Higgins tweeted that he was in the bullpen, during the weekend in Arizona to kind of go through that. I mean, you even heard the stories about when they clinched. He didn't even celebrate with the team too much. He went to go lock in for his next start. He went and got a nice meal, sat in the clubhouse, went away, got some good sleep. I mean, he is a guy that is meticulous, and he is consistently going to be able. He's going to consistently put himself in the best position to be in to give his team success, whatever role that may be. So that's why I love you, Darvish, going back there. And the other thing, too, is there's not, and I said this on Andy and Elston, not everybody is like that. Not every pitcher is like that in Major League Baseball. A lot of these guys are a creature of habit. We hear that with Max Fried of the Atlanta Braves. He had to start on Friday against the Royals because that was his usual routine.
Yeah.
Didn't want you can't take a guy like Max Fried out of his usual routine, right? So, like, if they had to throw him in the bullpen, he probably wouldn't like it. There's no guarantee he'd have success, right? Like Johnny Brito being a bullpen guy when he's not used to it this year, he got hit around.
He did.
And then he had to go back to the minor leagues, and I know he ended up getting hurt, but he had to go back to the minor leagues and go back to that starting spot. It's just different. It's the same thing with, like, Nick Martinez. He's great out of the bullpen, but, like, as a starter, he just was never as good of a pitcher as he was out of the bullpen. There's different roles for different guys, and the fact that Yu Darvish is willing to do that and take it seriously, I think, is a major step and a reason why they decided to do that here moving forward. On top of the fact that you have Michael King as the most consistent pitcher on the team right now. Dylan Cease is obviously your ace that you're setting up for the divisional series or a winner-take-all game on Thursday. And then you got your local product in Joe Musgrove trying to win you a playoff series tomorrow.
I like Yu Darvish coming out of the bullpen for everything that you said, because Yu Darvish is a consummate professional. He's always going to be prepared, and he will go that extra mile to make sure that he is ready to go. And in the only time he's ever come out of the bullpen, or at least in between Major League Baseball and the World Baseball Classic, was the World Baseball Classic. Came out of the bullpen twice.
Was greeted by Kyle Schwarber. Good thing he doesn't have to deal with that this series.
I was going to say that those weren't the best starts for him, but the playoffs are different. Yu Darvish is going to be ready to go. And we're even, honestly, lucky is a weird word, but we're lucky that he's even here, because he wasn't here about a month ago, and we didn't know if he was going to be a part of the team.
When
But
he's on
back.
the restricted list. But
yeah.
I will say the World Baseball Classic, I mean, he was up, he was down, he was up, he was down. He wasn't getting the innings he needed in the World Baseball Classic to get ramped up for the regular season.
Yes.
So
it messed up his whole year, to be honest.
I can totally understand how that's kind of a fluke, so I'm not going to live into that. But he's trying to get mentally prepared for a bullpen session. Now, would I throw him today? Probably not. I probably wouldn't want to burn him today.
No.
I guess 2 days out from his last start, it'd almost be a bullpen day for him today anyway. So if he goes in, throws like 20 pitches, he'd still be probably eligible to or think about starting him against the Dodgers in the NLDS. This is all planned out. They go through all these situations and
scenario after
scenario moving through. So I'm sure they'll be good to go for all of these contingency plans.
I want to shout out Alex Aguilar right now, because his friend came by and actually got me to record a video, because his friend is all the way out in the coast of Spain.
Wow.
And the game doesn't start until 2 a.m. local time. So shout out to Alex for watching all the way from the coast of Spain on a boat. And your friend's a very nice guy. He wanted to make sure you felt like you were here.
We had some fans. Where'd the napkin go? That napkin right there had some words on it, but it was some fans out here at Baja Ricks, Padre fans that live in Maine.
Wow.
That came 3,000 miles out to watch the Padres.
Our guy Dominic, he's a frequent Scraby Show guy, Gwynn and Chris guy.
He's a Scrabinator?
He's a Scrabinator.
Nice.
He's from Baltimore, and he flew all the way out here so that he could see the game tonight.
There you go.
Thomas Andrews, I'm trying to convince Thomas Andrews, a guy who used to work with us, who lives in Boston now, if he was a real fan, he would be here.
Is he
probably
saving it for the
right
championship series?
See, you got it. I don't mind you not coming for a wild card series.
That's right.
But because when the Aztecs went to the national championship game, Chris still regrets the fact that he didn't go to that game.
I told my dad he had to go as an Aztec alum.
Did he go?
He went.
And did he have a great time?
He had a great time.
Would he trade that for nothing?
I don't know. You can ask him. He's over there. But him and his buddies went, his Aztec alumni friends, and they went to the game. And it was. I think you have to do it. Like, You know, TC going to the national championship in football. I mean,
Made it easy on you, too.
I had to go. I mean, even if it wasn't in LA, I probably still would have gone. I tried to go to the Fiesta Bowl, couldn't get tickets for that. So even though they got smoked and it wasn't even a competition, I said they had to go. I mean, when's the next time they're going to be able to go? So, you know what? If you only get to go to one playoff game and you're a Padres fan, you live in San Diego. I mean, the wild card I think is different. You know, I think you gotta save your ducats for the top one World Series. So
if they make
Thomas,
it past the next one, the NLDS, you got to be thinking about it, Thomas.
I think so too. I think you got to think about that. You know, maybe they'll play the Yankees and go down to New York, watch it on the road.
Hey, that wouldn't be bad. I have if there was a good storyline, it would be Padres Yankees, the rematch of 1998. Speaking of, before we head to break, let's get into what Nick Canepa said because
you give a score update. The Mets.
Oh, did they? What
Mets
happened?
up 8-4, doubled your score. 5 runs in the top half of the 5th inning and still going. Runners on first and second, 2 outs.
Goodness.
Glacius reached an infield single. Vientos singled. Martinez singled. 8-4 Mets.
Bryce Terang
over the Brewers.
Although he's a Brewer, but doesn't really
People
matter
can't
right now.
see him because he's backstage, but Frank Marchese's just going fist pump after fist pump after fist pump. He brought out his plush Grimace. He's celebrating with Grimace right now. I think he just ordered a Happy Meal to celebrate the occasion.
The only thing I love about the Mets might be Grimace. Grimace
That's
is pretty
hilarious.
amazing. I love it. And I guess Grimace brought him good luck, but I'm not wishing for Grimace to bring him good luck. Okay, real quick before we had to break, Nick Canepa, longtime sports writer here in San Diego, wrote in the Union Tribune that this Padres team, the 2024 Padres team, is the best team in franchise history. He says they have the starting pitching, they have the relief pitching, they can hit for power, they can come from behind, they can hit with runners on base and walk-off games, which in no way happened in 2023, which was played with a similar cast. They don't settle, they never consider themselves out of games. They are dangerous. Now, really the only I just moved to San Diego in 1999, so it was a year after the 1998 series, but that team was pretty good. They won 98 games.
That was a pretty good ball club that they had in 98. I mean,
As
Padres,
a resident San Diegan, is this team better than that team?
I don't know. I was 3 years old when that happened, so.
But you know the history.
I do know the history. I just, you don't have anybody on this team that was lights out like Kevin Brown in terms of the pitch. I mean, when Kevin Brown pitched, it was this game's over. Padres are gonna win. Like they were never not gonna win with Kevin Brown. The only time they didn't, obviously, was the World Series. But that was strike 3, not ball 4. But anyway, I don't think you can make the comparisons until the season is over.
Yeah.
Obviously, if this Padres team
wins the World Series,
then it would be the best team that they have had. Now, I don't necessarily think just because you win a championship automatically makes you the best team, because sometimes stars don't align and it doesn't work out for you. I think, the best Chargers team that San Diego had was when they went 14-2. They didn't even make it out of the first round of the playoffs. I mean, that was their best chance of winning a Super Bowl.
Is that the McCree year?
Yeah, it was the Marlon McCree fumble.
Poor Marlon McCree gets mentioned every time we bring it up.
That's unfortunately one of the worst moments for
San Diego
sports fans. And
But
Marlon
you're right,
McCree was
you're
a good
right.
guy, too. It's not like he did it on purpose, right? So
you can't judge this until we see what happens
I say
in
the
the
same
playoffs.
thing with, just in my own run with, TCU football. The team that they had that won the Peach Bowl was way better than the team that made the playoff and ended up making to the national championship. There's just different levels. So I think Nick Canepa's onto something. I think this is one of the best teams that the Padres have had. Obviously, they've had this, I think, tied for the second best record in Padres history. Maybe the third. Yeah, this year at the 93 wins or 90, whatever it is.
93 wins is a lot of wins.
That's a lot of wins
for any team.
So I think he's onto something. We'll see how this playoffs play out, because you don't want to put the cart before the horse, right?
Yeah.
So just take care of business. We'll talk about that in the offseason. We're all popping champagne and hanging out in the gas lamp. And, me and you can have this conversation when we're doing the live remote at the Padres World Series parade downtown.
Thank
How
you.
about that?
You know what, Braden? I've actually envisioned that a little bit. I was like, what has Adam got up his sleeve for a World Series parade?
I want him to start thinking about that in about a month.
A month.
Let's not think about that.
A month will put us at November 1st, which will be like Game 6 of the World Series.
You know what? That's a good time to start planning for that.
Can you believe we're doing World Series now in November? I'm that old guy right now. If Chris isn't here, I got to do something. What'd you say, Frank?
Frank's the old guy, too. What'd he say? Ruining it.
Ruining what? I don't know where he
He's
went.
flipping his mic
what you're
on.
doing.
Oh, I'm jinxing it. Okay, well then
Don't play that game.
Hey, Frank, let me tell you something that I tell everybody else. I have no control over the outcome of the game. I am not a jinxer. But do I feel bad when I send a tweet about a no-hitter and then the next guy gets a hit against the Padres and I'm to blame? Yeah, I do feel bad, but I'm not the guy who...
Let's just not bring that
right.
juju out there. I will say just one game at a time, right? And then we can cross that bridge when we get there. But it'd be great to see. Everybody keeps talking about it. We'll see how this team plays out. And again, we can have these conversations because we're not in the clubhouse.
You're right. We're not in the clubhouse. I want those guys focused on tonight. We can focus on where our parade's going to be. All right, Braden Soprenet, Matt Scravey, Gwynn and Chris, Tony getting ready for the game tonight. Chris Ello will be back tomorrow. We're going to be in the loft before the game tomorrow. So if you get there early enough, you can come up and see us. But right now, Braden and I are at Baja Rigs Cantina and the Gas Lamp. We have about 30 minutes or so left before we are done for the day, so make sure you come down here, say hi, get something to eat, get something to drink. But when we get back, we'll wrap up the show, we'll talk about this game, and get you set with Sammy Lev. So we'll be back after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. segment here from Baja Rick's Cantina in the gas lamp. How are we doing out there? Lots of people are here for getting ready for the game tonight between the Padres and the Braves. Padres have 3 straight, if they need 3. They have at least 2 straight home games here, securing the wild card home field advantage against the Braves. Braves flew in last night. Let me go back to my Aviator website.
Let's check the Aviator website.
Yeah, I got to go all the way back to 2 p.m.
All his flight trackers.
Yes, the Braves left Atlanta last night at 10:09 p.m. Eastern, which was 1 hour and 9 minutes late. They arrived in San Diego at 11:24 p.m. Pacific time, which was 54 minutes late. What Tony tells me in his travels around the country, it takes at least 2 hours to get from plane to your bed. So these guys
100%.
aren't going to bed until about 2 a.m.
I just came back with USD. It took us forever just to get off the tarmac at San Diego International Airport.
Was that a chartered flight?
Yeah, it was a chartered flight. I mean, it's like, oh, you got to get the little stairs lined up, and you got to get the bags off the thing.
Did you see me just get excited about the stairs being lined up with the plane?
You didn't see the pictures I had on the tarmac of the great city skyline of America's finest city?
I'm just seeing it. But I say all that to say this. It's an issue, but they're going to be fine. This is playoff baseball.
The
Tony told us
adrenaline,
earlier today, the adrenaline's going to be pumping. These guys are here for the cliche term of it's a business trip, and that's all they're here for.
This is a business trip.
It's a business trip.
Business trip.
They have a pitcher who is A.J. Smith-Shawver. He's pitched in 7 career games, 1 postseason game. Last year in the postseason, he pitched in that 1 game, ERA 10.13. Went 2 2/3, gave up 3 earned runs and 3 hits. So we talked about Brian Snitker saying that he didn't even know till this morning. All of that to say, I'm ready for this game to start.
I've been talking about this game since 10 in the morning. I can't wait for this game to start.
You have been brilliant. Thank you so much for sticking around. Chris's Elo is going to be back tomorrow, but you have been talking about the same storylines, and honestly, I don't care because it's still fun to talk about all of this.
It is still fun to talk about it. It's I'm excited. Padres baseball, being able to watch the Padres in the postseason. I mean, it's been for a long time. It's been a very long time for Padres fans. Aside from the last couple of years, we've been blessed to see a playoff team in 2020 and in 2022. Before that, it was 06, and if you really want to count 07, or Holiday never touched home plate. It's been a long time. I mean, during my lifetime, I've been on this planet for 29 years. I missed the 98 series. I was 3 years old, and then I saw postseason appearances for the Padres in 04 and 05. We had the tease with Tony's team in 2010. 90-game winner didn't make it. So it's cool to get used to some playoff baseball here in San Diego. And I think the Padres fans have done such a great job of making this place a hard place to play. I mean, it's everybody. How many times this season did the other clubhouse, while leaving, was like, this felt like a playoff series in the middle of June. This felt like a playoff series. The energy here is insane. Now that could be a benefit or a detriment because you could get the adrenaline going for the Atlanta Braves too. But as Tony mentioned, and I think it's worth mentioning, when you play with adrenaline, it's how you use the adrenaline in these games. Because if you strictly rely on adrenaline, you could go out of whack and go play too emotional and play too upbeat and too uptight. And that doesn't work out for a lot of teams. It's being able to harness that adrenaline and use it for your advantage. And if Atlanta can do that, it's going to be a tough game today. If they cannot do that, the Padres should take advantage of all the games and the doubleheader yesterday and the late travel that Atlanta's had to do coming in. But again, it's not an excuse. I mean, look at the New York Mets. They're taking care of business against Milwaukee right now, 8-4.
Yeah, they are 8-4, top of the mid-6 now. Mets are leading. I want to read this because we haven't gotten into it yet. Dan Buckingham, we haven't gotten to this yet, but Michael King said this during his press conference yesterday. He said, quote, "I can't wait to see this place in the playoffs. The fans here are absolutely nuts, and I'm very excited to see what we can bring." Michael King is going to feed off of this energy. So if you're listening to us heading into the ballpark right now, driving down, finding parking, all of that stuff, then make sure you're screaming at this game. Make sure you're cheering. Make sure you're taking advantage of being at home.
It's funny. I mentioned traveling with USD. I got to go on the last 2 trips with them for football, and head coach Brandon Moore over there said something I told my JV team, and I think it still applies. He was saying he wanted to make sure that you cherish every moment and fight for every minute, and that's exactly the mentality I think the Padres should have coming into this game. Cherish every moment, Padres fans, and make sure as you're cheering up there, fight for every minute, because this never comes around. It's never a guarantee.
No.
Take advantage of every opportunity you have in the postseason, and we'll see where we land. I mean, this city is looking for a championship, has never seen one in major professional sports. We've been close a lot of times. We had San Diego State in the Final Four a couple of years ago in the national championship, just come up short. We've talked about the Padres being in a couple of World Series, just coming up short. Came up short in 94 with the Chargers against your San Francisco 49ers. A little different times then because no salary cap. I digress. But
you think that's why the 49ers won 49-26?
Yeah, and why the 49ers and Cowboys haven't won since? Yeah, absolutely. I do think that's part of the equation. Salary cap.
I've seen 3 more losses.
I don't want to get into a debate with you about the Niners and everything else, but I will say
today.
It's been a long time. San Diego could use a championship. This city deserves it for everything that they have done for this team and for this community and the backing that they have given this franchise. And I don't want to put the pressure on, but it's. I think the fans here need to be rewarded for everything that they've done in supporting this ball club. And I don't think it's World Series or bust like you agree, but I think these guys are going to put on a show for the Padres fans, and they got the crowd behind them. I mean, this is out of all the places right now in Major League Baseball in the playoffs, this is going to be the hardest place for a team to come in and win.
Yep.
Except for maybe Philly, but they're nuts. So it's a little bit different in Philadelphia.
We could be
but
a little
Padres
bit
fans can
crazier.
get nuts. That's fine. We got to be rowdy tonight, and hopefully Michael King shuts it down. Padres offense give the crowd a reason to celebrate early in the game, jump on them, get in the bullpen, and hopefully we're talking about a sweep tomorrow.
All right. Before we move any further, we need to check our last traffic report of the day. All right, Matt Scraby, Braden Soprenant here. We are closing up shop from Baja Rick's Cantina. Now, you could still come down here and you could still get something to eat before the game. You could still get something to drink before the game. Still have those specials. They got taco specials, drink specials, all of that. So thank you so much.
That feast that they gave us.
Oh, my gosh,
that was
feast.
Great. Full.
The feast. Lobster, shrimp. Steak, chicken, corn on the cob, all of that great stuff.
It was a loaded corn, even better.
It was loaded corn.
Elodie.
What is that?
That's the street corn? The Mexican street corn?
Mr. American over here. Loaded corn?
Elodie corn. Elodie.
But thank you so much to Baja Rick's Cantina for allowing all of us here. Everybody give a round of applause.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out,
yeah,
too.
Seriously. We've had some people that have been here since early this morning.
Now, people have been here since 6 a.m. with Ben and Woods and through Andy and Elston and now with Gwynn and Chris. So thanks for all coming out to Baja Rick's, and hopefully the Padres get a W today so we could celebrate again tomorrow.
Who's your MVP of today's game?
MVP of the game? I'm going to go with my most confident guy, Fernando Tatis Jr. I said it again. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
I feel like I'm going to hear that in my sleep because we've said it so many times today.
Well, the other coaching-isms that I gave you last week.
Control the controllables.
Control the controllables. That's all you can do tonight.
Said that like 100 times to myself
over
the weekend.
That's what you got to do. Control
Someone
the controllables.
cut me off in traffic. I was like, control the controllables.
We talked about kiss and kill today.
What?
Keep it simple, stupid, and keep it likable and learnable.
Oh.
There you go.
That is way different than what I thought you were going into when you brought that up.
That's on
hey,
you. Get you out of the gutter.
Thank you. Braden's been on the air for 6.5 hours. Give
That's
Braden
right.
a round of applause.
Good signing off.
Thank you to everyone for being here today. Let's go, Padres. We are going to be in the loft tomorrow, Gwynn and Chris, so we'll be there. If you get to the park and you want to come up and say hi, please do. But Sammy Lev, EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.